Hi, folks. You know you're in for a treat when you hear that music because it's time for another episode of the Rec Poker Podcast. Thank you so much for joining us this week. And if you don't know what Rec Poker is, if it's your first time coming by, we are a free learning community. We love poker. We love learning about poker. We love sharing our love of poker with other people who love poker. And we do it in a very positive and encouraging and respectful way so everyone has a good time all the time. That's what we're about here at Rec Poker. Come join for free. All it takes is an email address and a smile. Head on over to rec.poker and get a free account right now. And we want to thank our sponsors, the Running Aces Hotel, Racetrack, and Casino, and of course, website AMP, without whom we could not do what we do here. So thank you to them very much. We're going to talk about a couple things coming up on the show tonight. We've got a great guest. We're also going to talk about, if you're listening to this the day it comes out, it's Tuesday, March 8th. And tomorrow, Wednesday, we're going to be hanging out with KL Cleaton in our Wednesday night, The Focus, where you can get a great deal on Range Trainer Pro by using the code RECPOKER20. More details on that later in the show. And we've got a lot of fun stuff to talk about. Mixed games with Jake from Unshuffled, some challenges coming up, some site information, a couple contests. We'll get into all that later. But for now, I have the best job in the world. So every week I get to hang out here with this crew and talk to cool people in the poker industry. If you want to find out more about me and the rest of the crew here, you can go to rec.poker/crew, or you can just listen up because they're about to introduce themselves. John and Keith, why don't you tell the world about how they can reach you?
I'm John Somsky, and I am Poker Geek MN everywhere.
And I'm Keith Brandt, and I am Monkey System everywhere.
These guys have it so together. They're having the same handle everywhere. That's very prepared and organized. You guys are pros. I love working with you. So here we are. I am so excited about this one. We've been trying to get Kyna on the show for a while. She's been so busy because she's out there telling the world about everything that's going on in her life. This is Kyna England from Poker Power, but also from lots of other places in her poker journey. So first of all, welcome to the show, Kyna. Thank you so much for coming.
Thank you. And just to be clear, I am Kyna_cool everywhere.
That's right. So let's just start with that because that is such a fun handle. How, did that just come to you? Was that just like an obvious thing? You just had to do it?
I mean, it's a little lame, but like when I was younger, my aunt and like my cousins, they just like used to like call me Kyna Cool, and they like made a little song about it, and they'd be like Kyna Cool on the corner, and it just was like, oh, okay, that's like, I was a little kid, whatever. I was like, thought that was really cool, and it just kind of stuck with me. I'm like, well, then I'm Kyna Cool. Like, and for a little bit, I tried Kyna sorta. That was kind of funny too, but just Kyna Cool.
I love that there is a song associated with it. I did not know that was
come up to me and start singing at me now.
Yeah, no, that's it. Is there like a video link we could put in the show notes or something? Who in your family can we reach out to by email to get a rendition of this? Okay, so the Kyna Cool Song. Follow up on that for sure.
That is one of the most memorable Twitter handles I've run across. I thought it was kind of cool.
Well, thank you. It is kind of hard though. Like if I do dare to play online ever, which isn't often, people always message me and they're like, "Is that you?" Yes, it's always me.
Well, let's
can't hide.
let's start there. So, I mean, some people tell me when you talk about playing online and you're scared to, or that I know you play a lot of live poker. Talk to me a little bit about that. What is it about live versus online, and what don't you like about it online that you do like about live?
I just didn't have as much experience playing online. When I started to take poker a little more serious, I started to study more and play live more. But then when pandemic hit, I was kind of out of luck. I wanted to still keep playing, and I would try and play online and just kind of not get there, right? Like it just didn't make sense. And so I have some really good friends that we got together. We would Zoom, we would talk about hands, we would talk about strategy. I would write them down, we would run them by each other, and just started to get better. Like my friends were much better at online poker, and learning from them, I can take like aspects of their game and incorporate it into my game, and just learn different spots and different start looking at charts a little bit more, just a little bit more of the theory behind it. And then, coupling that now with my live game, I feel like it's just kind of made me better. If you want to get better at something, you will. And so trying to get better online definitely helps with the live poker too. So I did play quite a bit during the pandemic. Had a little club, that I would have some friends in, and we would have 3-4 tournaments a week or something, and play in other people's clubs, and just local stuff. And yeah, so I did get those reps in, but now going and playing, I'll practice on some of the bigger sites sometimes. And I like the Wsop.com, trying to get the bracelets or the rings online. I think that's totally worth it.
Yeah.
But it's not my favorite to play online. I much rather be around people and play live.
Yeah, I think we talk here a lot about how, the best way to enjoy life is with other people. Like the best way to enjoy poker is playing it live with other people. There's sort of like a study of the game online. You can practice online, you can drill, you can get better, you can experiment. But it does feel like the most fun you can have with poker is playing live. And, we're recreational players, but that doesn't mean that we don't want to win or that we don't take it seriously. It just means that we're wildly successful in other parts of our life. And so this is just where we get to come and have fun and try and win. So I think live poker is really where it's at. And I say that as someone who plays online a lot. Like most of my volume over the years has been online. But it's just because Southern Ontario is just this black hole for poker. If there was poker closer by, I'd love to play. So tell us a little bit about. So we keep teasing it. You've had you've been on a pretty good run for the last while. Why don't we just start with that? So take us through what it felt like through all these accomplishments at the end of the year, and what, because I know people have sort of started reaching out to you now in a way. It's amazing. You win a major, you sort of get into this place in the poker world, and then all of a sudden, it's like you reach this pivot point in the industry. What's that been like for you recently?
Yeah, it does. It did definitely feel different to actually win one and have a title, and to have a player of the year. It feels a little validating on that end, because, I just had some deep runs, and I feel like anybody can have some deep runs and chalk it up to, okay, well, we play a lot and you're going to get there eventually. But to have like a win at the end of the year, it made me, it solidified it. What we're always hardest on ourselves. And I think that because that happened in my head a little bit, now I'm letting myself, let it go to my head a little bit, right? Like, I try and be very humble. I try and be like, oh, not a big deal, but when you actually win one, you win a title, it's like, okay, fine, I'm good.
Yeah, I guess I'm pretty good at poker, right? And
exactly.
But it's not just the title. I mean, the player of the year, like that's not no one flukes into a player of the year race, right? So
it kind of, oh, go ahead. Sorry.
No. So I was like, no. So like, because I think we all have imposter syndrome about this stuff every once in a while, and especially if we have one win, or we just have like a couple wins that are not really typical. But you can fluke into that kind of stuff. But I am interested. But that's also how we get credentialed in this industry, is by winning the majors. So what was? Can you talk a little bit about kind of the difference between winning the major and then being in the player of the year position that you were in, and kind of how those are differently meaningful, or how you experience those differently?
Well, the player of the year thing, so early in 2020, or was it 2021? 2021. Yeah. So like things were starting to open up in the Midwest a little more, not necessarily in Chicago where I was. So we would drive out. I think I actually in January drove out to Larchwood, Iowa, which is almost South Dakota. And it was an 8-hour drive from Chicago. And we had gone the year previous, and I did okay, ran kind of deep. I think I got like 47th or something like that. But then my friends didn't want to go. And I'm like, all right, well, I kind of want to go. So I went by myself, did this 8-hour drive, and actually ended up, I think I got like 47th again. Maybe it was a little better that time. I can't remember. It wasn't great though. It was like 3 tables left or something. 25th, I think. I got 25th.
Okay.
And angry drove all the way back, for 8 hours, just like steaming about the hand that I had lost and everything.
Oh yeah.
And then there was the stop in Riverside, which was only 4 hours. So me and my friends went to that, and that was in, I think, March or whatever. And yeah, and just I got the 3rd place finish. And I had already planned on going to the new San Diego stop at Sycuan, and just because I wanted to see, I want to go to San Diego, I wanted to have a vacation. And so I went there with a friend and ended up, I think I got 25th there too, or maybe 15th. I got 15th there. I can't even keep the number straight. But then my buddy's like, oh, looks like you're pretty high up on this player of the year ranking now. He's like, you like MSPTs, you should just play a lot of these. And so I did. I traveled for a bunch of them, got in a few caches, and near the end of the year, I had planned on moving out here to Vegas, and I was kind of just giving up. I was like, I'm in 4th place. Like, this guy's got like a lot more points than me. I'd pretty much have to get like final table to pass him. But like my friend Sarah wanted to go, and it was just, a quick flight. We didn't drive. I normally would have drove, but I was, like I said, going to move to Las Vegas in 2 days and drive to Las Vegas. So we went really quick, and I was, almost didn't go. Like I said, I just wanted to, why not try? I don't want to just give up on this. So I went, and they were telling me, okay, kind of, you have to get like 8th or something to pass side church in the points. And the day just went on, and I, things just kept going my way. And for a minute they didn't, right? Like, you get those ups and downs all day long in a tournament. And just all of a sudden I'm at the final table, and I was like, oh, yay. Like, finally I'm going to be first place. And the final table actually didn't go well either. And then, but like all of a sudden, it did. And so I won, and it just like, it was really surreal. Like, I think I cried a little bit. I was like, oh my God, did I just win? What? Like, it's such a different feeling. And then the same feeling sort of with the player of the year, because we were sweating Taylor Howard at the last stop at the Venetian.
Yes.
Because he needed to get like 7 to beat me. And I had this like line of sight. I was playing the side tournament, and I just could see him, and I was just, watching him, waiting for him to stand up and stuff. And then I did see him, and I like ran over and gave him a hug. Congratulations, everything, and it was just weird. It's like, did I just win? Did I just win that? Like, somebody should make an announcement,
That's amazing. We had Taylor on the show in December, I think, or something. Like we'd already planned on having him on. And he told us about that experience, and he was very complimentary of you and really appreciated your great sportsmanship. And it was he was a good guest. We had a fun conversation about
He's
that.
A nice guy for sure. And I kept saying, if he wins, he deserves it. It's just how it is. If he can get there, good for him. No hard feelings.
Well, that's one of the things about poker, right? Like, it's a meritocracy with lady luck involved, which is kind of a hard way to keep score, right? Like, just like you were talking about. So kind of, how did you decide that you were good at poker? Like, how did you decide, what, I'm actually going to take a stab at entering some of these tours and taking a shot with some of these tournaments? Because we all sort of have a hard time judging how good we actually are, as opposed to how good we think we are, or how, maybe we're even better than we think we are in some cases. How did you discover that about yourself? What did that feel like?
Like I said, I'm just starting to think that I'm kind of good at that. No, but when I was working, I kind of fell back into it. I learned when I was in college from a roommate, and that was around when Chris Moneymaker won, and we watched it on TV. And she taught me. We were going to a lot of bar poker games, trying to win like $25 gift certificates and stuff. And it was just so much fun. I think I was like 19, and I remember I got a fake ID so that I could go into the bar and play poker. Like, I didn't, it was like 9 o'clock would hit, and they'd be like, you have to leave if you're under 21. And I'm like, I just want to play poker. I don't want to drink. So it got taken away like the second time I used it. But anyway, I got kind of back into it with, when just working. A friend of mine told me about some of the local tournaments, and I just, needed another hobby at that point. I was kind of not doing much except working and working out and stuff. And so, so I would go play on the weekends. And then I lost my job, actually. Well, I didn't really lose it. I was offered a package to move. Yep. They wanted me to move to Lincoln, Nebraska, which I was going to 1 week. I was traveling to Lincoln, Nebraska 1 week out of every month for my job anyway. So they offered me the package, and I was like, I think I'm not going to do that. And then started to like play a little bit more, more times a week, just getting it in and studying and everything. And so, but I was not good. Like, I could think back about spots where I was like, oof, what was I thinking at that point in time, but you don't know what you don't know. So I feel like just working on it, just realizing what I'm not good at, what I'm not strong at, and trying to get better at it. And there are still things, right? Like
Sure.
you look back at stuff, like even now I'm like, okay, well, we got to look into that a little more. We got to, look at these spots a little more. And just that's how I kind of approach things. Like I have very like learning mentality. I always want to learn and get better, try new things. So
well, that's music to my ears. And we've had a couple new members join us since we started, but Kim, Dave, Martha, Eric, Denise, thanks for joining. If you have any questions for Kyna, you can type them in the chat or feel free to just unmute and ask yourself. But thanks for joining us today. Yeah, so Kyna, I know you're affiliated with Poker Power. We're talking about finding people to learn with and ways to get some feedback on your game. We are big Poker Power fans over here at Rec Poker. We've had AJ on the show, did some work with you guys down in Vegas when we were there for the Rec Poker House this past fall. And we're looking forward to doing more stuff with you guys. I think we love this idea of just like helping beginners and intermediates enjoy the game more and learning about it so they can feel more confident and more comfortable at the table, whether it's live or online. So Kim does our monthly empowerment session, which is for all sorts of people to come and share their experiences about being comfortable at the table or being uncomfortable at the table, and how we can better that situation. And I know that's a big part of what Poker Power is like as well. How did you get involved with Poker Power, and how has that kind of helped you with your own game?
So in the beginning of quarantine, again in the pandemic, the Poker Power started at the end, I think, of 2020, and they were doing a lot of live clubs, teaching in person. And I think because of the pandemic, it was a good thing and helped to take off because we started doing Zoom lessons. And it was at first just like high school or college girls, like a group of friends. And I kind of joined while we were putting the curriculum together. My friend Sarah brought me in. She was one of the originals. She kind of built the baseline for the curriculum. And then we had other professionals come in and kind of tweak it and add to it. Everybody gives feedback on it and all that stuff. So, but yeah, I think it's just teaching girls or teaching women, I wanted to be able to be confident about the answers that I was giving them. And I think I had an aha moment at one point teaching a club, and I was showing them just like an online game I was playing, and they were just live asking me stuff. And it's like, well, I was having a hard time explaining like the why. And I think we just don't do that enough with learning and wondering, okay, well, why are we making this bet? What do we want to accomplish? And I started focusing on that a lot more and just figuring out, just making sure I had the, like, I don't want to say correct answer because there's no really correct answer, but just knowing why I'm doing stuff and like the logic behind it a little bit better. And once I do that, like think through spots on myself, it just made more spots easy and other spots easy. And then you question certain things and it's just a cycle then. So I think teaching them made me want to get better so that I could knowledgeably answer questions that they had and not be like, well, it depends, and it does, but why? Like, right. So just like teaching definitely has made me a better player overall. And I still do it. I still teach, two clubs a week, about maybe 3. We do some special events that I participate in, but I really do love it. And I'm thankful that I got to get in as early as I did and be a part of such a great team.
Yeah, we've got a question from the chat here. This is from Kim. What does your study routine consist of? And how many hours of study versus play do you typically do per week?
Oof, I wish I had a routine. I'm having trouble out here. Just like I've just moved to Las Vegas, trying to just establish a life routine. But I think I like to watch. I learn by watching a lot more. If I watch something and I don't understand, or I like question it, or it's different from something I would do, I look into it. I ask questions to my friends. I like note that, like, well, why would they have done that? What makes sense here? I like the vlogs that people put out a lot. Like I like Ashley Sleeth's vlog a lot. Like I think it's really helpful in thinking through like some tournament strategy. And again, if I watch her vlog and she says something different from what I would have done, like I question it and I look into, not questioning her, but questioning myself and looking into spots and stuff and studying a little further. I'm like enjoying some of the live streams lately too. So I don't really do too much on like studying, using solvers or charts or so much anymore. I like to be like more of an intuitive player, using my gut and stuff, and the little voice in the back of my head that says, go all in anyway, like I listen to that sometimes. So, but playing, I also play to study too. So I'll play smaller stakes like online if I feel like I need a day where I need to like get some in and just practice. I don't, I'm not so hard on myself. I can remember the hands, I can save them and, review them later or write them down or ask a friend. So that's really what I do. I don't really think I have a set amount. I'm trying not to play so much these days because I don't want to get burned out. We have a long year. So
Sure.
I remember early last year, I kind of took it easy in the beginning of the month and like ramped up throughout the summer, and we've got the series coming up. So definitely probably using more time now to like study and learn rather than actually play. I did fire the mystery bounty, but we won't talk about that. But yeah, I guess that's sort of my routine. I like to watch videos while I'm at the gym, or like, if I'm just cooking and, prepping food or whatever. That's just, all my downtime, I'll watch poker like if I can.
Nice. And you gave me a perfect segue to the question that Denise just typed in the chat here. Denise says, thanks for having this session. Certainly happy to have you here, Kyna. Do you have any specifics on how you choose your tournaments? Do you select a particular set of tournaments for the year, or is it based on where you live and just what's convenient?
So for this year, I'm kind of going like a couple of months in advance and just planning. I'm trying to stay around this area. There are some that I'm going to travel for, but I think it's like a value kind of for me now, like what makes the most sense. So I do like, though, that I have a little bit of a cushion because I like to use my money to travel and see new places. So I don't mind spending money on that a little bit. That's kind of what I did last year. I like enjoyed myself and all the stops, did something fun, and didn't worry too much about return on investment going certain spots. But yeah, so I think it's not like an exact science of how I pick it. I think it's just, is this one going to be worthwhile? Am I going to get a diverse player field? I'm not like still a high roll. I don't play like 10Ks and 5Ks regularly. I like, the 1K range or lower, but yeah.
Oh yeah.
So I am going, I've looked at I know the Win Million series is going on now, and I did play the mystery bounty because what a thrill to pull an envelope out.
Oh
That's
my
like
God.
all I kept saying to people is I just want to pull an envelope. And there was just that hand where if you had won it,
yep.
Yeah, I would have got like 7 envelopes. No, I'm just kidding. But I did. I busted near the endish of the day one, and it stung a little bit. But and then there's the 10K looks like a great one, but again, that's just not in my wheelhouse. I feel like if I played that one, I wouldn't play like me. I wouldn't be as comfortable. So I'm instead gonna go play the series at the lodge because I've never played in Texas before, which is something that I look for. I've never played here, and it looks like a great tournament structure. It's a big guarantee. Lots of different players will probably be there, like diverse player pool. You won't just have all the like people playing the 10K that always play the 10K, right? Like in Austin, you're gonna have some people that probably have traveled from different parts of Texas or just like want to play to enjoy themselves, and then some people that might have traveled in like me. So I'm pretty excited for that one. And then I do have to hit some MSPTs.
I think
so I'm like kind of working that in, but I know it's an interesting question. I get like tournament selection. I just kind of feel that out and decide what's right for me within the time. But I've only planned out to about May. So I haven't planned a series schedule or anything like that yet, but I will be playing the World Series, but I don't know which events yet, or if I'll go home for a little bit, but yeah.
Well, and now you've got the Player of the Year hardware. It's not like you need to schedule, it's not like you're hunting down the rest of the year trying to make sure you can hit the numbers, right? That's a whole different perspective. So Kim says here in the chat, if you're looking for fun, the Irish Poker Open in Dublin in April can't be beat. So something to consider. I know Kim's had some success out there too with some of her other Poker Friends Forever traveling group.
Okay, I'm going to write this down in April because that's another thing on my bucket list is I would love to go international and play somewhere. I have not yet. And maybe that's a good one. I'll take a look at it. Thank you.
I hear it's super fun out there at the Irish Open, and the Australian is also a super fun group.
Yeah.
From I understand I've never been, but I understand people talk about that as being another fun international destination.
Yeah.
So we were just talking about sort of like pivoting to being a sort of a credentialed person in the poker world. you're also in a unfortunately unique position in being a woman player in a field that's predominantly male and not always a very welcoming place. No pressure to speak about this, but have you had some experiences where people have made you feel uncomfortable at the table because of that? And are there ways that you would have other people act differently, or is there a way that you wish people would act that was different? Like what can the poker world be doing differently? And is that a problem in your mind?
I used to have a lot of trouble with that, like before. I think, it was in my mental state too, like of being a woman and being newer and being uncomfortable. And so now I think about that a lot in environments. I try and throw that into lessons too, is how to combat it. And I don't in my mind right away think, oh, this guy is just playing at me like that because I'm a woman, but it kind of does. It is something that crosses your mind. And then there's always just like, the more important thing is the safety aspect of it, is like the things that the guys don't have to worry about is like, oh, this guy might follow me out into the parking lot, or like, oh, somebody might see my car and follow me home or something. And again, that's not something lately that I think about a lot, but some women who are newer might. And so when I do have an incident with someone at the table, when they're maybe like screaming or swearing at me, like I don't take it lightly, because I am a person that will speak up and stick up for myself. And I do it a little bit extra for the ladies that can't, because there might be women in that situation that wouldn't know what to do, that would get really rattled, and not even know to call the floor. And because of that, I feel like if this guy is yelling at me, how is he going to yell at another lady? And I give it back to them,
Right, good.
So, but sometimes I get a little extra about it, because it is like a passion of mine, is having more women at the table. And there are some crushers that I have met out here too, some ladies that are just very strong poker players, and there aren't as many, but there are more now than there used to be. So I mean, we just need to be given the opportunity, and we can succeed just like the men. So I like to see them, when there's at least one more lady at the table, sometimes there's two, ladies being confident, making big plays, being bold. It's great to see lately.
Yeah.
I hope that answers your question.
No, it does. It does. And, because most of the live players are men, what is something that men can do differently or better to like demonstrate that they're an ally in that way, or even just to like, because I think for some guys kind of struggle between not wanting to like get involved in like this white knight way, and like but also wanting to be supportive if support is needed. And I know hashtag male privilege, right? Like what a first world problem to have. But how can we make it easier for guys to be a good influence? Like, because we got to grease the wheels for these guys. This is what I'm saying.
Sure.
Like, so how can we make it as easy as possible for guys to be good?
I feel like
allies?
just like in general, like being a good human and not really like even separating the gender, like is somebody just being an asshole to like somebody else for no reason? I think like, I don't like that either. If some guy is just berating another guy across the table, I might be like, hey man, take it easy. Like what's going on here? Let's have a good time. And I think those are the kind of situations where like anybody just in general should just, this is a fun environment. Yeah. When we're playing for money, people get hostile and stuff, but I don't think there's any reason to berate or be mean to other people or make them feel uncomfortable. And I don't know, with the men versus ladies thing, I think men tend to like explain a lot more than they realize, like assuming that, we just don't know. And I actually like that. I think that's great. If you want to tell me how to play, I will listen. I'm all ears, so I think that's just and there is some comfortability, like recognizing maybe if a woman is uncomfortable, and just I don't know. I think maybe it's just like an empath thing I have, or like an instinct to like want people to feel better or feel comfortable at the table. And I actually, a couple of months ago, or maybe it was like it must have been when I was in Elgin. I was in my home casino, and this guy told me, "You're making the whole table uncomfortable." I'm like, "Oh, am I?" Oh,
quite the compliment.
I guess so, right? Like, but I guess and again, like probably I can only get away with that, right? Like if it was a guy and he was like, making some other guy uncomfortable. So I'm trying to be a little bit more aware of myself and making, jokes or being a little too extra. So, but yeah, It is what it is. I am who I am. I'm not for everybody.
Oh, that's awesome. So I want to get into a little bit of strategy conversation. We won't go over any hands or anything but that like that. But as you've progressed as a player, can you share one or two moments where you were studying or you were learning and it's just like the light bulb came on and you had this like, oh, I'm going to think about poker in this way differently, and that really really helped your progression? Was there anything like that?
Yeah, I think like I said, I come from corporate learning and development. So I used to build training and correct processes with education, just process improvement and efficiencies.
Mm-hmm.
And I always would kind of be like, wonder from a learner's perspective, the why. And I think that's just always, once you start thinking that way, like, why am I betting? Why am I checking? What do I hope to accomplish here? I think that just like kind of elevates you to another level of like, you go in all these different paths down your head, you think of situations, and like, what the other person would think, they think, like, I like that kind of stuff.
Yeah.
But I guess every time I play a hand and I'm not sure that I played it well, I'll like run it by some friends and incorporate feedback for next time, and I'll remember it. If it's a significant hand, I'll remember it and I'll try and correct that in later hands. And I think that we all should be doing that, and that's like a great way to learn is like from your mistakes, obviously. So if I think I made a mistake, I have one friend that I'll right away reach out to, and then I might ask a couple other my girlfriends too, or some other people later on. But I really appreciate like the opinion and the not sugarcoating, telling me how it is, and mistakes. I think pointing out mistakes and learning from them. So I guess that's sort of my strategic way to learn and improve. There's not one way to play this game too, which is great. And, I think also maybe putting in my head a little bit, like I worked on my mental game a lot. I used to get really upset and like beat myself up and just be mad for even showing up, and I read some books and did some, Wsop stuff to like try and correct that, and get a little bit better. And I think once you can kind of kick that out of your head and just think clearly and not let yourself get like tilted in the middle of a game, have like a strategy to combat that, that's kind of made me a better player too, for sure.
Yeah, I like that. That absolutely. When I learned poker myself, it was in a silo. I just did it by myself, watching videos, reading books, listening to podcasts, and the only mistakes that I could learn from were my own mistakes. And you do learn from your mistakes, because like losing has to hurt. I believe this very much. If you're really going to learn, you have to like hurt when you make mistakes. Negative reinforcement. But I just wish I had shared my stuff with more people, my journey with more people, because then I could have learned from their mistakes as well. Like that's the one thing. We all feel like we got to burn our hand on the stove in order to learn that the stove is hot. But you can actually just make yourself vulnerable to other people, share this journey with other people, and then you can learn from their mistakes. What kind of stuff have you picked up from other people as part of this? You said like they provide an insight that you don't have, a perspective that you don't have, just because you're kind of too close to your own game sometimes. Has there been a moment where someone just sort of like helped you see something that you couldn't see yourself?
Yeah, like just especially like with value spots a little bit. I think realizing like thinking about, okay, well, what am I trying to say that I have, and why, and how does that make sense, and what does the other person have, and just like I guess sorry, like talking strategy is so difficult for me, because I really like have to think through stuff. They had me answer some questions for a magazine and I was like, I need more time, because I just can't. I don't everybody's game is so different, and the way I think about something is definitely not the way that other people think about it, so but I think just talking through like maximizing your value spots and like that kind of stuff, I pick up a lot more when I talk to friends about hands, like what makes sense, what that kind of thing, like over betting spots and all that stuff. I don't know if I'm just rambling here. I don't really have an answer for your question.
No, because I think those are the areas where we need the most help, where it's not a cookie cutter answer, right? Where it's not just like flip to the back of the textbook and see the answer. That's the kind of stuff where we need help.
lately too, like I don't really get so upset if my bluffs don't get through. I'm like, oh, okay, well, that just happens. You have to get caught, and sometimes you get caught on TV on the main event, whatever. But I do get a little mad when I miss value or I played a value spot bad, like, because that's something we can learn. It's poker should be easier when you actually have it,
Yes, that's right. I believe that. Well, I'll give everyone that you've been very generous with your time today. I'll give everyone a chance to type any final questions in. We got a comment from Martha here. It says, Kyna, you're such an inspiration for interested women. It's true. It's wonderful. Martha, thanks for typing that in there.
Thank you. That's really sweet. Yeah, I hope that more women come in. If they're interested, that's the thing. If you're interested, you should have a place to come and learn and ask questions. And that's what Poker Power is for. We have women take lessons and they'll drop off and lose interest, but it's like, you really want to learn poker, like you don't have to go to this casino and just try your hand at it. Like here's a spot where you can just come and learn and enjoy it with other women.
Yeah, that's great. Now, like I said, I mentioned at the top, we're talking to AJ about maybe getting some of the Poker Power folks into our free home games that we play here every night, because it's a free play money home game, but there is a level of competition a little higher than what you're used to in your play money game. So it might be a place for some of the Poker Power women to come and sharpen their skills against some other great players.
That would be great. Yeah, I'm sure they would love that. Yep.
Yeah, Kim.
So I play a lot of the WSOP circuit events, and I noticed that a lot of them will have a ladies event, but quite a few of them don't. And I'm wondering how I could approach the director or the person who's running it to say, why don't you have a ladies event here? You're having 2 seniors events. Like, why? Like, I'm going to Turning Stone, and I don't think they have a ladies event there. And I know that they had one, but they're having one at the same time in Saint Martin. So are they only having a ladies event because more women are going to the, holiday spots, or like, how can I approach them?
Yeah, so when I would play the Horseshoe in Hammond, I don't know if this is correct, but I was told that they did not have then that's a big stop, right? Like it was a big circuit stop and they never had a ladies event. And I was told that some of the casinos just don't want the headache behind the like exclusion and the inclusivity of it all, right? Like not everybody can play it. Like technically, like everybody is going to be a senior at some point, but not everybody's going to be a lady. I don't know. That's sort of like they just didn't really want to deal with the headache. So it might be that, or it might be that maybe nobody's just asked. So you really don't know unless you ask. So I'd be interested to hear what kind of answer you get from those stops if you ask, the poker room director about it. Or the tournament director, because it comes down to just being up to the casino, I think.
Right. So I'm going to Turning Stone next month for the WSOPC. And should I just approach them when I get there? Or should I sort of, and like nicely say, hey, there might be a lot of women here? Or should is it something I should try and do ahead of time?
Or maybe tweet at them and see what they say. Hey, why isn't there a ladies event? If they don't answer, then ask them when you get there. But yeah, I think it's like nowadays too, like this was like what I'm talking about is like pre-pandemic when everything, there weren't that many anyway, ladies events, but now there's so many popping up. It might just could be a capacity thing or whatever, but yeah, so you should definitely just tweet at them and see what they say.
All right, good idea. Thanks.
Oh, you're on mute.
Thank you. There you go. See, such a pro. Kyna's been doing this long enough now. She's telling us how to do it. So we got a couple comments in the chat here from Denise. Ladies events have to be supported by a women's group to get them the turnout. Yeah, I think that certainly can help, just having a rallying cry near there. It says Maryland Live is doing a 20K guaranteed women's event on March 20th. So that's right around the corner. Not too late to make some plans to get down there. 10K. Yeah, sorry. Good call. Keith, did you have something?
Yeah, Kyna, who would you say was your most, or one of the most important mentors or inspirational people that you've had for your poker career?
I would say like mentors are definitely my friend group, my good friends. Michael Burke, James Simon, Sarah Steffen, just all those people that we call it the garage team. Like we would play mixed games in my friend Ryan's garage. Like those people had just really like helped me, I think, get to where I'm going. Just and other friends along the way that I've picked up, just talking about spots. But I would say inspiration. I just love Maria Ho, like, and I've met her a few times, and I probably should tell her like what an inspiration she's been, but like her robot stare, with her beautiful nails, like I'm always kind of having nails. I kind of try and emulate that too in big spots when I don't want to give stuff away. And I don't think I have a lot of live tells. I try and be very aware of that, but if I'm not sure, like I'm like, be Maria, and I like cross my hands, pretty nails splayed out, and just stare, right, and don't give anything away, just don't say anything and just stare. So I really I do like her game. I liked to watch her on Poker Go a lot. I love to watch the women, Jennifer Tilley. I think she's so much fun too, just like to have energy at the table and just not take yourself too seriously, just have a good time. That's how I play cash games. Like I'm not good at them, so I'm aware of that. It has to be fun if I'm going to lose a bunch of money, right? And sometimes I win anyway, but I try and kind of like those type of women that were around. I met Kathy Liebert the other day, and she's great. She's really fun to talk to. I watched her quite a bit in the past. So I think those are kind of the inspirations that I draw from as far as women.
Awesome. Well,
so when do you think you might be back here in the Midwest to play?
I'm definitely going to go to Battle Creek since they've opened that stop for the MSPT. That was like their biggest stop, and they didn't have it for 2 years. So I'll definitely go to that one. I'm debating Iowa, but from Vegas, it's so hard to get places. So it'll just be a surprise if I show up in Iowa.
Yeah, I'm going there, and also Battle Creek.
Yeah. Okay, cool. Well, I'll meet you there for sure in Battle Creek.
Cool.
Definitely want to go to that stop.
Nice. Well, I guess you've stayed you gave us so much time here. This is longer than we asked you for. So kind of thank you for being so generous and for sharing so many wonderful details about your life and your poker journey and your success and what we can hope to see in the future. I wanted to let's definitely get a chance. Hopefully we'll be down in Vegas at the same time in June. We can cross paths then and do some rec poker power collaboration and bring some love to the rest of the poker world out there.
Thank you guys so much. Thanks for having me. This was a lot of fun, and I'm sure I'll hear from you guys again soon. Thank you.
All right. Looking forward to it. Thanks, Kyna.
Bye.
So, John, it is time to take us into the community hour. We're going to go over home game results. We're going to talk about some upcoming events. Lead us off, dear leader. Let us know what's happening in home game land.
Well, before we started that, I just wanted to mention that, just be Maria is probably one of the best pieces of advice that I've heard on the podcast. Just be like Maria. She's an excellent player.
No kidding.
All right. So for the daily series, nightly events, JS Edam, Jeff S. has won yet another. This is his second nightly victory for the year and his second victory overall for the year. The GF Hawk, Eric Romo.
Eric
got his second nightly victory for the year.
Nice. That one's in No Limit Hold'em because that's his favorite game. I can tell you that personally.
Yes, that is true. Poker Geek Man John Somsky won a nightly event.
Didn't you win one recently? And I know it's not based on skill. What's happening here?
Yeah, I figure people are just trying to be nice to me so I don't stop offering the tournaments. But I swear I will still keep putting them on. You do not have to let me win.
But it helps. It doesn't hurt.
Well, it doesn't hurt. Yeah. Okay, then we have Shamu. 27-140, Roger Lamp got his first nightly victory for the year. Illy Chippies, Jill Burke got her first nightly victory for the year.
Crusher.
The mayor is back. Tom Weed.
Nice.
Wheat. Yeah, WEIDT.
Yeah.
I think it's wheat.
All right, Tom.
Anyway, got his first nightly victory for the year. For the nightly series mixed event, Rick the Good Dog, Rick Rock Oman, got his first mixed practice event victory for the year.
Right on. We were actually just chatting on Twitter the other day. Rick has been on a hot streak in the state of Minnesota too. He's been climbing the leaderboards at Running Aces. I know he's a regular at Canterbury as well. So Rick, I hope you're listening, and thanks for the conversation. Keep up the great work, man.
Excellent. MN Ted, Philip Fuhrer got his first international victory for the year.
All right.
And Max Chaos 2112, Greg Clem, got his second international victory for the year.
And if you like Greg Clem, stay tuned, because in next week's podcast, Greg is our official guest host. He comes in and interviews the panel when it's time for us to get up and have our interview. And next week, I'm actually going to be the guest, and Greg Clem is going to come and interview me. And if anyone has any questions, actually, by the time you hear this, it'll be too late to send them in, but we'll put out a Twitter poll or something like that, and people can submit some questions for that for Greg. So thank you, Greg. You're doing great work, and we appreciate your contribution here to everyone at Rec Poker.
And last but not least, B-Chip Charles Allen won the LPP event. So you can contact Jim at rec.poker and get your free month at Learn Pro Poker.
That's right. And actually, Charles is just another person I was emailing with recently. And Charles is going to be, we did a sort of a little giveaway of some free coaching sessions. So Charles is going to be getting a little coaching session from Chris Jones and a little coaching session from Taylor Moss. And if people are more interested in, finding out more details about coaching at Rec Poker, you can just email me, Jim at rec.poker, and I can send you some of the details there. So thank you, Charles, for being a premium member and for taking advantage of that. I also want to shout out Joseph Armstrong, who became a premium member this week, and we've been chatting. I know he's looking forward to getting behind the scenes and learning about all the amazing stuff we do on the learning areas of Rec Poker. And also Howie Guerin. Howie's been a member for a while. We've been chatting recently as well. Howie's been a pretty active member in some of the group conversations, and he loves to wreck that Rec Poker gear. It looks damn good in that blue shirt. So Howie, I hope you're listening, and thanks for sticking with us. And everyone who is a premium member, whether you're doing it just to help us out every month, or whether you're doing it to come and join in the strategy conversations like some of the folks here in the chat, it helps us out a lot. It really does keep everything going over here, and your support means the world. So please do consider signing up for premium membership. If you use the code RECPOKER, you get your first month for only $5. And I know it's hard to go wrong for that. So thank you to Joseph and Howie and Charles for helping us spread our love of poker with the rest of the poker world. All right, so let me see what else is going on in Memberland. I know I'm excited about this. So this is coming out on Tuesday the 8th. So right now, if you are listening, you can go to unshuffled.io. This is Jake's product, his platform. If you listened to the show last week, you can get a chance to, I got a fun comment from Denise in the chat. I'll get up to that one later. So this is unshuffled.io. There's going to be a challenge where it's a free platform where you can go and play poker with your friends or play against bots. What they're doing is from the 8th until the 18th, you can go to unshuffled.io and play in the Rec Poker Challenge. And if you do well, your results will be matched up against everyone else who played the challenge in that week. And you get a chance to win a prize. There'll be a Rec Poker Premium membership prize. I think Unshuffled's going to do a couple prizes as well. It's totally free to play, and it's fun to join. So go check that out, unshuffled.io, and play in the competition there. The other thing that's going to be fun about that, and I know some folks like John and Kathy Chang are going to be interested in our mixed game schedule. We're also having Jake come back in on March 30th, and he's going to do a demonstration of the next month's mixed game. So every month we'll have Jake in here around the end of the month. He'll use his platform unshuffled.io to do a little demonstration of how the mixed game is played. We'll do some Q&A. We can learn about the game and go out and win that second Wednesday of the month, zero in on that Player of the Year race and the silver pin at the end. There's a couple more things. We got a lot of exciting stuff happening in March. If anyone jump in if you've got stuff to add. So that's on March 8th, that starts. On March 9th, Wednesday, we're having the focus, which is on the second Wednesday of every month. Every month we take a different creator or developer of a poker tool or a poker resource or poker software or something, and they come and demonstrate it for our group. So this is free for all premium members, 6:30 Central on Wednesday, March 9th. This month we're talking to KL Cleaton, who is going to take us through Range Trainer Pro, which is, personally speaking, my favorite training tool. I think it's clearly the best way to drill ranges. They've got a post-flop module that's really exciting. And they have a subscription service. So if people show up in the session, oh, actually, I think he told me I can put it out on the air too. Okay, so if you use this code, it's RECPOKER20, and the R is capitalized and the P is capitalized. RECPOKER20. That'll get you 20% off your subscription. And I can't say enough good things about Range Trainer Pro. So go check that out. You can also go to Keith Brandt's Monkey Systems playlist on YouTube. He's done 4 videos going through the pre-flop and the post-flop elements of it. And it's a great program. And so come join us on March 9th. That's 6:30 Central. All the premium members are welcome to join that session. And you can also take advantage of that deal throughout the entire week. That deal will expire on Friday. So you've got till then to make it happen. And I think KL's on the Cards Chat podcast as well. So take a look for that. That comes out this week as well. So you can learn some more from that. Marek Madness. I know March Madness is something you've all heard about. You may recall Marek Madness from last year, where last year we had an 8-player ladder bracket, and we had a series of heads-up matches, which we played and then provided commentary on top of while we streamed them live on Twitch last year. So this is all Taylor Moss's creation. This year he's put a 16-player bracket together, and every Thursday night in March, we're going to be streaming as part of his Twitch stream on Thursday's schedule. So every Thursday in March, you'll be able to come along and watch these heads-up matches play out with commentary from some of your favorites, whether it's Kim or myself or John, Taylor, Chris, Tim Fritz, a few other wonderful folks that are going to be lending their expertise in the booth. And then we're also going to have a special guest lined up for the finale, which I'm looking forward to. So if folks go to rec.poker/Marek, M-A-R-E-C, they can find everything they need to know there. And you can even fill out a bracket and compare your predictions with the rest of Rec Poker Nation. Kim, did you have something you wanted to jump in with there?
Yeah, I didn't know this was out in time for people to jump into that bracket choosing. It sounds like we might miss the
yeah, right. Well,
1 week.
Maybe they might have missed the first episode or the first set of matches. Well, go check that out anyway. You can catch up on some of the other matches and see how it played out from last year. So that's going to be fun. I'm excited for that. And then the one other piece of news, and then I'll let everyone roll on out of here. Someone is going to play in a WSOP bracelet event for free. It's happening in June. The good news is you get to just show up and play in a bracelet event for free. The bad news is it's with this guy. So what we're going to do is on June 1st, we're going to take a list of everyone who's a premium member at Rec Poker. We're going to draw a name out of that list, and that person's going to have a little over 3 weeks to decide if they want to get down to Vegas for June 26th. Event number 55, Chris Jones just saying, is the tag team event in the WSOP this year. So I'm playing. I'm putting up my own $500, and we're going to put up another $500 for whoever the lucky member is who comes to join me. We don't have to sit on each other's lap. That's been explained to me. That's not required. And we can just kind of swap off rounds or hands or, yeah, Kim says you only have to play small blind, big blind once. So no bad news. That's right. And hey, someone's got to win it, right? Someone's going to win the tournament. Why can't it be us? Why can't it be me and another premium Rec Poker member? So I know that would be a lot of fun. And yeah, Denise says, for your interview, I want to know if that's in a closet or an office you are in. Yes, I live in a very, very old house in Cobourg, Ontario, and they used to build them small. So this is like the guest room, and I can kind of touch I can touch every wall from in here. This is great for what I'm doing right now. Yeah, what bribes am I taking? No, Eric, that's it. We're strictly going to do a draw. It's your odds are as good as anyone else's in here. If you're a premium member or on the Wrecking Crew, I'll tell you. And if you're on the fence about joining Rec Poker, folks, use the code Rec Poker. Spend $5. $5 is going to get you a month of this amazing access and premium training content here at Rec Poker. And maybe you get a chance to sit in the bracelet event with me. So bring some Grolsch, pack a lunch. We're going to have a lot of fun. Someone and I are going to have a lot of fun on June 26th. The draw is going to be on June 1st. Thank you, Kim, for asking. So maybe if you're behind on your podcast a little bit, you're not hearing this until April or May, it's not too late. Go become a premium member, and hopefully we can play in event number 55 together. I guess I should be rooting for Chris Jones to win the draw because it's event number 55. That's the one he should win a Yeah, yeah, that's right. That's what I was saying earlier. Good news, you get to play in a bracelet event. Bad news, we're probably not going to win the bracelet. But you never know. Someone's got to win it. All right. And then I guess I just want to say, yeah, so folks, thanks to everyone who's been writing me some nice emails or hitting me up on social media. It's been a really up and down couple of months, but it's been great to connect with friends and friendly faces and folks with kind words to share. So thank you everyone for that. And let me see, I guess I should just thank our sponsors again, Running Aces Hotel, Racetrack and Casino. And of course, Kyna England. And I got to thank Keith, Dave, Eric, Denise, Martha, Kim, and John for joining me today. Steve Fredlin for all he's done to make all this possible, and everyone else, you the listeners. See you again soon.